Last week I told you that self-care for me looks like 5 quiet minutes sitting in the car. Today, I want to tell you the part that I didn't say out loud. That even those 5 minutes come with guilt attached, like I'm stealing something that isn't mine to take. If you watched my first video, thank you. Today, I want to go one layer deeper into something I just touched on last week. The guilt. Not the big dramatic kind. The small, constant kind. The guilt that shows up the moment I try to take 5 minutes for myself. I want to describe this as specifically as I can because I think it's easier to recognize once you hear it named. It sounds like this. I sit down for 5 minutes and almost immediately a voice inside my head starts a countdown. He might need something. What if something happens and you're not paying attention? You should be doing something useful right now. It's not that anyone in my life has ever actually said those words to me. My husband has never once told me I'm not allowed to rest. This voice is entirely mine, and that's almost harder to deal with. There's no one to argue with except myself. And it's not just him. We live with my mother-in-law too. She's 100. She just had a birthday last week. And there are things she needs from me as well. So when I say there's no time left over for me, I mean there are genuinely 2 people's needs filling every space where I might rest. I've thought a lot about where this comes from, and I think it's this. I started measuring my worth by how much I do for him, instead of just loving him. Those sound familiar, but they're not the same thing. Loving him doesn't require me to be in constant motion. Somewhere along the way, I started believing that if I wasn't actively doing something for him, I wasn't being a good wife, a good caregiver, or a good person. I don't think that's true, but I'm still working on believing that it's not true. Here's something uncomfortable I've noticed. Sometimes I don't even take the break when it's fully available to me. He'll be resting. Everything is calm. There's absolutely nothing that he needs at that moment. And I still won't sit down. I'll find something to clean, something to check on, something to organize, just so I don't have to sit with the stillness and the guilt that comes with it. That's when I realized this isn't really about time. I could have all the time in the world handed to me, and the guilt would still be there waiting. This is something in me, not something caregiving is doing to me from the outside. I keep coming back to Matthew 6 in this season, and the guilt is exactly where it meets me. There's a part of the passage that I skipped over too quickly last time. The part where Jesus says, "Can any of you by worrying add a single hour to your life?" I used to read that as just being about worrying over circumstances. Lately, I've started reading it as being about this too, as if God is asking me, can you add anything to his life or to mine by refusing to rest? I don't think that the answer is that rest fixes anything, but I think that the guilt might be its own kind of worry, a worry that rest itself is dangerous or selfish or something that I haven't earned. And I don't think that's what God is asking of me. I think that he's asking me to actually receive the rest that is already being offered, instead of standing at the door and refusing to walk in. I want to be honest, I have not solved this, and I do not have a 5-step plan for you. What I have is one small practice I'm trying. When the guilt shows up during my 5 minutes, instead of arguing with it or trying to push through it, I've started just naming it out loud, quietly, to myself. This is the guilt, not the truth. And that's it. I'm not always sure that it works. Some days the guilt wins anyway, and I get up early and go back to doing something. But even having a name for it, and even being able to separate it, this feeling from this fact, has made the 5 minutes feel like a little less than a theft, and a little more like something that I'm allowed to have. If you've ever felt this exact guilt, the kind that shows up before you've even done anything, just for existing outside of caregiving for 5 minutes, I want you to hear this clearly. Needing rest is not evidence that you love less. It's evidence that you're a person. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and tell me, what does your guilt sound like when you try to take a break? Before I go, I want to sit with that same passage one more time. For this reason I say to you, do not be worried about your life as to what you will eat or what you will drink, nor for your body as to what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, that they do not sow, nor reap, nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not worth much more than they? And who of you, by being worried, can add a single hour to his life? And why are you worried about clothing? Observe how the lilies of the field grow. They do not toil, nor do they spin. Yet I say to you that not even Solomon in all his glory clothed himself like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Do not worry then, saying, what will we eat? Or what will we drink? Or what will we wear for clothing? For the Gentiles eagerly seek all these things. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will care for itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. That's still what I'm holding on to. Not fixed, just held. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, stand still and know that he is God. Even now, especially now.